Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvijay Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Govinda Govinda. Well, I need my spectacles, it seems. So, dear devotees, we're very happy to see many devotees from around the world here with us. And I'm looking for London. We're looking for London because this is a London Zoom. Saraswati is here, but I think she's at the airport collecting a devotee from Ireland, I believe. And anybody can see anybody else from London? I'm not in London. Last week I was in London. This week I am in Italy, Villa Govinda Ashram, which is actually the same as London, but different. Because we're not in London, we're not in Italy, we're with the devotees, we're engaged with the service. And we have some new faces, but mostly the family that we know. And good to have you here, Leela Sundar Prabhu, with us on the Zoom. So happy to have you here. And Ketira Devi Rasi, happy to see you here, also coming from Norway. So, dear devotees, we've come here today, and Devashish Prabhu, he is in India, and next week we'll have to see what arrangements will be made for the London Zoom, but whoever is coordinating, they'll put up some notice. However you get the information, which I don't know how you get it, about the Zooms each week, then however you get the information, next week you'll be notified what's happening, because I won't be available. We are traveling to Thailand and in preparation for the Kartik festivals, and the day after that we arrive there, maybe the same day, then we'll be meeting Devashish Prabhu and Keshavananda Prabhu, both from England. Now, I'm told that Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu is joining us today from London, but I don't see her yet. I don't see him here yet. If you are here, just make a little squeak so we know that you're here.
Maharaj, there.
Huh?
I'm here.
You're here.
Yeah. No one can see us. But I'm not sure how to use this properly. Can you sit over here? So I'm here, Maharaj, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Over.
Can you see me?
I cannot see you. Over.
Okay. All right. Let me try and... Saraswati has gone to the airport to pick someone up.
I am here. I can see you. You are visible. You are SCS Math West London. That's the name. So everyone can see you. I don't know why Maharaj cannot see you. That's very strange.
These spectacles. These spectacles.
Maybe it's because of your spectacles, Maharaj.
Do I have to click on another button?
No, you don't have to click anything. I can see you. You are there somewhere. I think there are quite many participants, so maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
All right, but you can't see me, Maharaj. Can you see everyone else?
Okay, now I can see you. All right. Okay, okay. So anyhow, this is your Zoom. We're in London. Oh yeah, we've got the young and the not so young all together there in the temple room. So this is the West London temple room that we've come to join. And Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu, he already knows the title for today, and he's been doing some homework, and I know that he's able to give something quite substantial. And I also am very happy to chip in with a few words, but let Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu first talk. And we would, before you address this matter, perhaps you could just give a summary of the last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I am witness to the fact there's been, a very wonderful service going on, brought all the devotees together to come for some fundraising at a big yoga festival covering 3 days. So perhaps you'd like to give a little news from London about that first.
Okay, sure, Maharaj. Thunderbird, good evening. So everyone, I presume, can see and hear me okay? Yeah, so as you mentioned, Maharaj, it's the annual London Yoga Fair, which is held at the Alexandra Palace grounds in North London. It's an old Victorian establishment built for events in that era. So it's quite a grand old Victorian design building up on a hill that overlooks the whole of central London. So the grounds and the setting are quite impressive. They have the annual yoga fair there. And for the past few years, the Math has been catering to all the attendees of the fair as a fundraiser for the temple. So that was done again this year. Of course, that entails a lot of cooking, a lot of preparation, and has to be said, Lavanya is kind of the backbone of that. She does a lot of work and organizing, both in the run-up and during the course of the event. But she enlists a bunch of other people as well, as you can see. Karit is here, as part of the team. Karit Krishna Prabhu, Lalita Madhava's brother, and Anjali, and there's a bunch of devotees that were here, and they left. A lot of them left today because the festival finished yesterday. So it's 3 days, and it meant waking up very early and starting cooking in the kitchen. So that was an experience, with a test of tolerance, because you've got 10 people in the kitchen, all trying to cook their own preparations and, vying for space and bumping into each other, etc., etc. And then transporting all the food to the festival and setting up the stall, and then a whole team of servers serving the food and selling it, and then packing up and returning to the temple with all of the dishes that then need to be washed and put away and ready for the next day's cooking. So it's a 3-day marathon where all the human resources of the temple are all harnessed to participate in this fundraiser. But after all that effort, it was a success. I'm pleased to say it was a success. And everyone had spent the day kind of relaxing and recuperating after the marathon effort. So that's what's been happening the last 3 days.
And yesterday, Tridandi Maharaj gave a class right on the stage, and there was kirtan or not?
Yeah, I believe so. See, I didn't actually go to the event itself. I was one of the support team here at the temple. But I believe he did. We'd have to get someone else who was there to comment on that.
Were you there? No,
I believe he gave some talk, or there was some kirtan of some kind.
And there was talk by kirtan.
Yeah, there was a talk from kirtan, right?
Yeah.
Harit Krishna, you went? No.
I didn't go, Maharaj. I was in the temple.
Okay, well, they needed a big support team. We saw it was like Navadip, where at 5 o'clock in the morning, they're already cutting, chopping, starting to cook for the shifts of taking the prasadam, the food, to the fair. It was like Navadip, the buzz of energy that was there. And Ashita Krishna came from very north of England, and he said London was like the tropics. Compared with the north. But devotees came from Sheffield and around and about. So anyway, it was a very constructive program. And Suresh Krishna was with us here. The weekend before that, they were doing catering for a Buddhist retreat. So devotees are active. And here, every weekend, they're doing catering for the kiosk outside. So devotees are doing this kind of seva. All right, so anyhow, only transcendental service is the proper utilization of time. So Devashish Prabhu has given this title, and he's always supporting in the background and then speaking and calling up the next day or so, asking how was everybody and how did it go. So we're going to give him some news after today of what Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu is about to share with us.
Right. Well, thank you, and honored as usual. Not that I can do justice as a substitute to Devashish Prabhu. We all know his skills in devotional oratory, but I'll give it a go as a fill-in guy temporarily. So yes, only transcendental service is the proper utilization of time. So I mean, as normal, I'll keep it relatively brief. I think I don't have too much to say. I haven't done extensive research. I made a lot of notes. Saraswati, of course, alerts me on the afternoon and says, "Oh, remember, there's a Zoom today, and I want you to say something." So I had a brief think about it, and I'll say something. And initially, of course, it reminded me of what is use of time. Use of time is whatever we do is going to take up a certain amount of time. So all of our actions, they occupy our time. So this could be rephrased as saying only transcendental service is proper activity. That activity is synonymous with the consumption of utilization of time. So in terms of activity, and then it reminded me of Guru Maharaj, his famous expression of the three categories, three fundamental categories of action. There is exploitation, there is renunciation, and then thirdly, there is dedication. Now, our activity in the Mayic environment is generally categorized as exploitative. That's the reason why all of us are here undergoing a cycle of action and reaction, and further characterized by a cycle of birth and death, etc. These basic attributes of the Maya Shakti, the material world. So it's characterized by exploitative action. But the purpose of spiritual life, or once someone becomes aware that such action, such exploitative action, does not serve the actual interest, does not serve one's long-term well-being, then they begin to question the benefit or utility of such an approach. They may understand that exploitative action carries a result that is opposite to the one intended by performing that action. That the law of karma says that every action has an equal but opposite reaction. So if you go out looking for happiness using an exploitative model of action, then you will inevitably experience just the opposite of that by the law of karma. You will experience it in equal severity, but opposite in nature. So, and the example has been given that we can see that, or thus, that can be extrapolated to understand that inside every object of exploitation is that we perceive as attractive, hence we exploit it, or attempt to exploit it, attempt to enjoy it, is its opposite. So inside everything we label pleasurable is its exact opposite. In other words, it contains potential, a seed of pain-giving substance. What it gives pleasure also gives pain. So everything in this world contains, it's the opposite of what it initially appears to show us. For instance, you can have one ice cream and that will be quite enjoyable. And then you are offered a second ice cream and you consume that second ice cream. It's not quite as, the pleasure is not quite as intense as the first ice cream, but it's still enjoyable. But then you have a third ice cream and you're like, well, yeah, that was kind of okay, but that's definitely enough. Someone comes along with ice cream number 4 and you're like, well, actually, really, I've had enough. No, you have to have ice cream number 4. And you're kind of force feeding yourself at this stage. It's not pleasurable anymore. It's the same ice cream. It's the same act of consuming the ice cream, but it's changed from pleasure to pain. Any unbiased observer will go, the person's doing exactly the same thing, but it's changed from pleasure to pain. So what is pleasurable in this world inherently contains, or intrinsically contains, its opposite of pain. Just like the brightest light can blind you just as much as it can illuminate, or the coldest cold can burn you just like the hottest hot. So everything in this world has the opposite of what it seems, which means that you can't make anything of it. Everything is a wild goose chase, in the sense that eventually it presents the opposite of what you chased it for. So when a person comes to that realization, what do? They've got 2 options. One is they stop their activity altogether. They go, we're going to renounce. Guru Maharaj calls it the plane of renunciation. We're going to stop our activity because it's a wild goose chase that is a endless seesaw or roller coaster of pleasure mixed with pain, and birth followed by death, followed by birth again. It's not in any way capable of providing permanent long-term well-being and happiness anywhere close to the potential that exists for the consciousness to experience love and happiness. So the person decides to stop working and renounce everything. And this is the premise of those that seek to cease their karmic, to clear their karmic debt, and then perhaps merge. Leave the plane of activity in this world, but not enter any kind of positive plane of activity. Guru Maharaj says it's like going on strike, renouncing your activity. So you're not generating any karma, but you're not creating any positive karma either, developing any kind of bhakti or anything. So the third option for devotees is that there is a plane of dedication, where realizing again it's based often on a disillusionment with the exploitation that action in this world is characterized by. But instead of just renouncing it and ceasing one enters a plane of positive action. And that is the premise on which bhakti is based. And as Guru Maharaj calls it, the plane of dedication. So we can see, or we can then ask the question, if we arrive at a point of disenchantment with exploitation, and we understand that renunciation does not satisfy the yearning of consciousness of the soul for dynamic, loving activity, then we can only logically conclude that dedication must hold the answer in terms of fulfillment, in terms of everyone's innate search for happiness. So how to go about achieving or activating that dedication? How to pursue that? And of course, it takes a certain amount of surrender, and it takes a certain amount of sacrifice, because the impulse to perform exploitative activity is ingrained in the consciousness of the conditioned jiva. So a certain amount of sacrifice, of giving up those exploitative desires, is necessary. And then those impulses, which are impulses towards exploitative action, are cleared, and we are protected from that. As Krishna says in the Gita, Sarvadamam Pratyajya, Mamikam Sharanam Rajaham Tam Sarvapapivyo Moksha. So he says, surrender and forget all of your ideas of action, whether you consider it exploitative or whether you consider it dharmically constructive. Let it all go. And then you surrender unto me, and I will protect you from any negative repercussions, karmic repercussions that might be coming your way. You could say that is a point from which the plane of dedication, or back 12 subject matter, proper utilization of time, which is action in dedication to Krishna, that's the point at which it starts. Surrender. And Gurudev says surrender, and then do what? Surrender and serve. Transcendental service is the proper utilization of time. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Ramananda Roy in their conversation known as the Ramananda Samvad, this verse is quoted by Ramananda Roy, Savadaman Pratyajya. And Mahaprabhu goes, no, that's not enough. You have to go further than this. And then what is this concept of transcendental services is then elaborate. Of course, this conversation goes sky high, but the further elaboration of what devotional service is, how it begins, is explained as Jane Prayasam Udapasya Namanta Eva Jivanti Tan Mukharitam Bhavati Avartam Sane Sita Shutikatam Tanuvan Manobhir Ye Prayaso Jitajito Pratitai Trilokyam. So this verse is quoted by Gurudev and Guru Maharaj as well. And as a subsequent verse leading on from Sarvadaman Pratyajya, that when you surrender, that's good. That shows that you're disillusioned, that you've had enough with exploitative action and you're ready for the plane of dedication. Then Jnane Prayasam Udapasya Namanta Eva is letting go of any idea of that you know what to do, and instead releasing knowledge and instead acting with your mind, body, and words. So utilizing, harnessing all of your personal resources and putting them towards devotional activity. And that is the proper utilization of one's time. Why? Because it attracts Krishna. Even though the verse has been interpreted, and this verse is from the Bhagavatam, and in the purport, in Prabhupada's translation, he quotes Sanatana Goswami, who gives a commentary of the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, called Dasam Tipani. I get the pronunciation slightly wrong. Dasam Tipani, I think. Sanatana Goswami's commentary on the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. And he gives three interpretations of this utilization of one's mind, body, and words in Krishna service. Jivanti san mukharitam bhavadiya vartam. Sane sita shruti gatham tanuvan manobhya, mind, tanuvan words, mind. Body, words, and mind, tanuvan manobhya. That it attracts Krishna then to use his body, mind, and words in reciprocation with the devotee. So the devotee is not only using their body, mind, and words for the service of Krishna, but it activates Krishna to do the same with the devotee. And Krishna, being the all-attractive person, coming in contact with the jiva soul, this is done through devotional service. So utilization of one's time to come in contact with with Krishna and the service of Krishna is the proper utilization of one's time in terms of that it satisfies the innate desire of the soul, conscious unit, for ecstasy, for pleasure, for happiness, and of course puts an end once and for all to the trials and the tribulations and the pains and except all the other bad things that people experience in this world. So hopefully that is of some help.
Yeah, it's very lovely. Wow. Wow.
Okay, I'm speaking with the microphone off, excuse me. Yes, Ru, thank you very much, and very clear, and you are able to give the quotes. Very beautiful. And here we are, we're in the world, and we are in an uncertain world, a world where anything can happen at any moment, and we get experience of this almost daily, but we can think almost every week, we can think at least every month we're getting, most of us here get some news of something extraordinary that we didn't expect to be happening. So also the urgency that we've come to Krishna consciousness and that we should take it seriously. This urgency comes up again and again. When we're with Gurudev, when we're with Guru Maharaj, they don't like to waste any time. They doesn't even enter their mind to do anything which is not in the line of service. I mean, service is their life, the embodiment of their life. And one thing that Srila Saraswati Thakur points out too, and there he's pointing out that why have we left our traditional values and come to plunge into this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, coming to Mahaprabhu's line? We've alienated some of our family and friends, all these things, by coming to this line. So why have we come? We should come with full attention and not just half-heartedly, because our time in this world, and anything can happen any moment, means we have in our hand this human life. We have in our hand this connection. We have in our hand the instruction of what to do. And if we think, I don't have any instruction what to do. Well, there is some instruction from the scriptures which make it all very simple, Krishna consciousness. One instruction is, out of two, one instruction is always remember Krishna. And always, everybody knows the meaning of always, also in Portuguese, in Spanish, in Russian, as it's being broadcast. Always means at every moment. So always remember Krishna. And the second instruction also has this word there, always. Always don't forget Krishna. Never forget, no, it has never in it, doesn't it? Okay, never forget Krishna. Never. Okay, yeah, so never is zero and always is everything. So from that point of view, then also we've come to Krishna consciousness, and essentially we're given these two instructions. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that means that it's not a part-time hobby, but rather when we understand the goal, which if we hear from Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, if we read from them daily as our nourishment, then surely we will understand that really there is a wonderful destination, super destination. And why are we plodding in the mud of misconception in this world? As Srila Guru Maharaj used to say, we're plodding in the mud of misconception. So we should get out of the mud and come back onto the track, keep ourselves clearly on the track of devotional life. And we saw Guru Maharaj's life, we saw Gurudev's life, and we've seen the life of so many devotees, serving them, who coming and giving their time, their energy, all these things, and sometimes in difficult circumstances. And I can say that we are fortunate to be in the company of devotees who give their time, give their energy, know what they're meant to do with their lives. And so as much as possible, we'll try to keep that ideal in our life, to always chant the holy names of Krishna, always take our nourishment. We are not Paramahamsas. We have to have some sadhana, 4-letter word for some that can't count. But those who can count, they know it's a holy word, not a bad word. Sadhana is our spiritual practice. And that means hearing from the best sources. And we've got these best sources in Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. So we are at their lotus feet, and they are giving us the opportunity to serve. They're waiting for us. And many quotes about not to waste our time. I did look for the exact quote that Devashishwa had given. I didn't find it, but if he was with us, he'd probably say, oh yes, it's in this book. I did look to try to find the exact quote, but we know that only transcendental service is the proper utilization of time. So I didn't find the exact quote, and there may not be one. He may have produced it in this way. But here's just a short quote from Srila Guru Maharaj. And everybody here knows to chant Hare Krishna is very good. I think we're all together on the same page, or we're on 2 pages, 3 pages in Zoom, in fact. So, but we're all almost on the same page, as it were. So we all know the value that it is wonderful to chant Krishna Nam, and that this is our very central theme in our development of bhakti, devotion. So Srila Guru Maharaj here in the Golden Volcano is saying, if you want to chant the name of Krishna, then don't waste your energy with the trifling things of this world. Do not allow your attention to be disturbed by tiny acquisitions like prestige or gain, which is relative to money or physical comfort. Remember, you are trying for the greatest thing, and all other things are very small in comparison to Krishna consciousness. So don't waste your energy and valuable time. Be economical. You have the chance to achieve the highest goal of life. Govinda, Govinda. And Guru Maharaj in another place, which is inner fulfillment, there he's saying, Srila Guru Maharaj, also very short quote, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended, do not waste your energy for anything else. Use your energy for the Krishna conception of Godhead. Then Srila Guru Maharaj saying, so we try to make our progress in this line. And at the same time, we also ask our friends to try to embrace this life. The fulfillment of life for every particle of existence of this world can be found here in Krishna consciousness. So march towards universal good. Wherever and whoever you are, it does not matter. Take your course towards Krishna consciousness. This is the highest fulfillment of life for everyone. You are only to turn your face towards him and march, and the sweet absolute Sri Krishna will welcome you. This is the campaign of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And this is the campaign we saw in Guru Maharaj and in Gurudev, and we see the evidence of and know it was in Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. And we've been reading other, of course, so many things this week. And again we're coming across sentence after sentence, phrase after phrase to make more posters from. And well, I closed the app because my computer was overheating, but I do have some noted down here. But how much stress and enthusiasm Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev gave to utilizing our time properly. So our time is limited. We don't want to end up regretting that we didn't do everything properly. We want to try as best we can. And everybody can chant Hare Krishna. Everyone can offer their food. Everyone can be happy. So no need to think that the material things are going to be of any value to make us actually nourished and happy in the long term. We'll be happy at home. We'll be happy by giving our heart to Krishna, by remembering him at every step. Hare Krishna. And Nadia Priya Devirasi, you're still in Germany? You are in Germany? Du bist in Deutschland?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, very good. She's come over from Ukraine to Germany for some time. Hare Krishna. And Shyama Priya is with us. She'll be coming over to Thailand very soon. And by the way, Chaitanya Devirasi, she has been doing the translation to Portuguese. She's the pioneer of the live translations. But she is in Thailand or India. Thailand, I think, right now with her other half, Dhananjaya Prabhu. And so we thank Anu Krishna Devirasi for stepping in, for doing the translations, Jai. And Suresh Krishna will be translating to Russian today. Praneshwari Devirasi. Her throat must be better. I can't hear her because she's translating to Chinese, but she did have a rough throat. Hare Krishna. Wonderful things. I am going to pass you over to Kumkum Devidasi in a moment. I did have some gems. Okay, here's a gem. Mahaprabhu's instruction. Okay, this is Srila Guru Maharaj speaking. Mahaprabhu's instruction. From this mortal world, try to connect them, everybody, to the highest immortal plane. And not only of immortal existence, but of immortal nectar. Try to connect every mortal being with the center of all existence, with Krishna. Every atom, every soul, every point of existence that you come across, connect them with that highest center of love. So that's Guru Maharaj explaining Mahaprabhu's instruction. Connect everyone with that highest center of love. Then Srila Guru Maharaj saying, this should be done by a sincere devotee. He will try his best to connect Krishna with everything. His whole time may be utilized in the connection of Krishna, the universal Lord of love. And he means the devotee, will try to distribute him, Krishna, to every heart who is suffering from mortality here. That is Mahaprabhu's desire. Mahaprabhu's desire is save them by spreading the talk of their loving Lord. Krishna is the Lord of highest love, the Lord of every soul, and to connect them with him, to connect the people with him, will be the solution, the highest solution for every life. Then just two sentences, Srila Guru is saying, so as much as is done for him to spread his, capital H, Krishna's connection, his association, that is to be appreciated. Every atom must be given that chance. But we must be sincere. Anyway, some beautiful things. And as I was doing a little gentle homework today, I mean, we just come across so many things, and I have other quotes from Srila Gurudev, but just remembering them, remembering their life, remembering their expression, remembering them giving us home comfort in this world, you can say. We recognizing is coming to our shelter where we know we've got everything clearly, honestly, sweetly coming to us, the connection of the highest plane. And then Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, they've given a little, not even a little, those given some taste to the devotees for the land which is our sweet home, the home comfort land. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
And Kum Devi Dasi, please.
By your kindness, Maharaj, and all of the Vaishnavas here. And one point, of course, that comes up is the Bhagavad Gita verse about time. And so many things from Bhagavad Gita from the beginning, when we first started learning about it, shows it's exactly like Prabhu was saying, that things can seem one way, but to a devotee, they can be the exact opposite. What is pain can become pleasure, and vice versa. So everything about Gita, it's in so many people had mentioned that Gita is in a violent place, and there's so much death and destruction, far worse than anything we hear about today. And that was when we were young students, but then meeting Srila Prabhupada, and he showed us it's the epitome of help through genuine knowledge and beauty, and has all of the charm that we are seeking. So this particular verse, which is 11:32, where Krishna, the kind guru of Arjuna, is saying, the Supreme Lord said, I am the time, the mighty vanquisher of all, and I am engaged in destroying the worlds. So how can this be positive without seeing through the very beginning of it? Is Krishna saying, time I am. So it's another way, time is another way that Krishna reaches to us to help us and to educate us. And so the utilization of time, that is how Krishna is helping us. Otherwise, the result is very sad. Even the great scientist Oppenheimer had quoted this. We're seeing the whole dismal present as well as future. He saw as very dismal because of time. However, as our gurus are explaining to us, we're very fortunate because whether we have 10 seconds left or 10 years or 100 years, we have time. We are in the present when we have this capacity to utilize it in Krishna's service. Actually, Srila Prabhupada was fond of telling us time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. So this problem about time, thinking we don't have enough, is a problem in this plane only. But for one who is trying to engage in service, and we get all of those benefits, as Maharaj has been explicit with telling us about, we will engage, and we will see that time is another way of receiving Krishna's kindness.
Thank you. And this is, and also in the Brahma Samhita, the text 56 of chapter 5, then Krishna is saying that in the spiritual world, in his home, time, there is no separation, even for a fraction of a moment, between past and future, living in the eternal present, which is, these things are all achintya for us. But that description is also given there amongst the wonderful other descriptions given about Goloka Vrindavan. And then the mention that hardly anyone knows of that plane in this world, except for a very few pure devotees. And this is our good fortune, everybody here. We've got this recognition for those very few devotees, those who've come from that plane to give us that visa issuing officers. Doorman, Guru Maharaj said that he felt that Srila Saraswati Thakur had put him as the doorman to the higher Leela of Goloka Vrindavan. Not that anyone and everyone will come in. So that is the standard of the masters who've come to rescue us on behalf of Mahaprabhu, continuing Mahaprabhu's wave to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. And it is everywhere. How many people say Hare Krishna to us in the streets? In a good way or a bad? No, mostly a good way. Mostly a good way. And even at the airport just now, just somebody walking straight through, oh, Hare Krishna. Okay, very nice. We are happy. And Esai is here also. Esai, Hare Krishna. A very enthusiastic soul in London.
Pranam, Maharaj.
Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Govinda, Govinda. Actually, lots of devotees. I better not mention devotees, otherwise someone's going to say, oh, you missed me out. And we've got lots of devotees with us. But how rare it is to have the association of devotees. And I myself was reading, when I first was reading about Krishna consciousness, and had no association and didn't know where to find association within a few thousand miles, and then later, a few thousand miles or kilometers later, then had association. And when we first come to the temple, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, of his instructions, his guidance given in the book, the only book I had, which was that book, Science of Self-Realization, I have to say, we had appreciation for the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada is always giving honor to the devotees. And what is our time for? Our time is to be used, but it's in connection with Krishna. But how will it be used in connection with Krishna? With the devotees, with serving the devotees. And when we first came to the temple, and still, but when we first came to the temple, to be in the temple with so many people who were also chanting Hare Krishna and who could answer some questions about Krishna consciousness and show me a Bhagavad Gita. They didn't have one to sell me at the time, but they showed me one. And to be in such association. So we should try to see every devotee is good association for us, because it is so. But of course we will then discriminate inside, because everyone got some percent this and some percent that. But every devotee we must give appreciation to. And when we've had no association, to come into a temple where people happily chanting Hare Krishna, appreciating prasadam, appreciating the arati of the deity, then we can see that the devotees are special. But it's through the devotees that we are coming to serve Krishna. And when Mahaprabhu himself is saying that his aspiration is to be a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, then wherever we are, wherever there are temples, wherever there are devotees, if there is some opportunity to do service, then this service connection is very valuable for us. Today, I was hearing from Srila Guru Maharaj about donations, about collecting donations. And when we collect a donation and somebody gives with good heart, however small it is, then they're on their way back home. And Guru Maharaj was actually being very encouraging about that. But he said, but if someone's giving a big donation, but they're very cautious about it, and then afterwards they regret, oh, I could have used that money for to go towards a new car or something, but I gave the devotees so much money, then they may not get the same benefit as the person who's giving a few cents, but giving with good heart. So everywhere there is quality, and whoever is connecting in service to the devotees, then they're on their way home. We've heard it from Gurudev so many times. Today I heard from Guru Maharaj. And we've heard from Guru Maharaj. But we need reminding because it is a while ago since we were with him. Guru Maharaj disappeared from the world in 1988, which may seem like a long time ago for some of you, but actually 1998 still feels to me to be in the future, but it passed by. One strange thing about time in this world, isn't it? So we try to use our time properly. Okay, any questions? We are in London, and by the way, we're very happy to see also around London and Europe, lots of devotees with us in Spain and in Ireland and Norway and Sweden and Italy and around and about just nearby also, and in Ukraine, South Africa. Govinda, Portugal, yes. I better not miss anywhere. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the countries because I'm going to miss some place or somebody out, but very happy. And it is true, the names of the devotees themselves, this is a joy to see and to remember. And by the way, everybody can congratulate Subhasini Kumar, Subhasini Devi Dasi. She's got her Irish nationality, citizenship, after so long going through the formalities. So now she'll be much easier for her to travel. And when they heard you got your citizenship here in Vila Govinda Ashram, they were all said, Jai, so when's she coming? So you know that now you always had an invitation, but now it's so much easier to come to Vila Govinda Ashram and bring joy to the devotees, Subhasini. And some dosa and idli as well. Subhasini is from South India. What's it? Tirunelveli? No. What's the name of the town? It's where one of the places Mahaprabhu went?
Tirunelveli. Yeah, I too look forward to visiting Vila Govinda Ashram soon, Maharaj, when I get the passport.
But you got your citizenship, then very good. Now you get Irish passport. Now you'll have to start speaking with an Irish accent. Any question from anyone? In fact, Subhasini, would you like to make a little contribution on this? Because actually, Subhasini, she is a regular reader. I mean, always reading, and she's got lots of quotations and experiences also up her sleeve to share. So now,
well, one verse comes to my mind, Maharaj, this about this time, like in Bhagavatam, this is Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Udyan Nastam Chayanna. So that's like both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, and except for the person who utilizes the time by remembering the Lord, by discussing the topics about the Lord. So I think that is what came to my mind at that time. So this is just a little contribution. All right.
A big contribution, because it's from Srimad Bhagavatam, and every syllable of Bhagavatam is there directly or indirectly to glorify Srimati Radharani. So dear devotees, please don't ask me how each syllable there does, but it does. We know it does. We are told from the authorities. Any question for the London devotees to answer? There's a hand. Oh yes, Arjuna Krishna. Prabhu is from Ukraine. You can open your microphone, or do you need someone to open it for you?
Yes, Maharaj. So I have a little question. We can hear that Krishna is saying that he's living in a Bhagavad Gita, and that Bhagavad Gita is his home, and he is the Bhagavad Gita. So today I have a story when a policeman stopped me. He started to look, my stuff, and he saw the book Bhagavad Gita. I have the Bhagavad Gita with me, and he's like, can I look the book to see if there's something inside, some illegal stuff? And he takes the Bhagavad Gita in his hand and starts to look. So, and I thought, is it possible that the person that just take the Bhagavad Gita, he has some kind of bhakti after this whole, by holding just the book in his hand?
Yes, Arjuna Krishna, it can be. And we could ask what was his attitude, but we don't want to hear any bad attitude from him. But it can be because they're doing their job. They're looking to see if someone's carrying any wrong things with them. And then in the future, he's touched that Gita, he's looked at it, and he's given it back to you also. So, some good enough feeling is coming from there. And in the future, he may hear about Bhagavad Gita or hear something, then he'll think, oh, I already had some touch of that before. So we can't really say, it's not a mathematical equation. It is rather the will of the Lord. If it's the will of the Lord, then some remembrance, something will happen in the future. But that he's favorably touched it and given it back, if that was his mood, then that's going to be in his favor. And so this was also unknown to you when you woke up this morning that this was going to happen. So I don't know what you said to him, but when we think about what Mahaprabhu is instructing and how Srila Guru Maharaj was explaining in the quote I gave a little earlier, that we want to try to connect everything, every point, every atom, every one with Krishna. This is the urgency. And in another place saying there is no dearth, this word, D-E-A-R-T-H. There's no shortage in this world except of Harikatha, except of giving this news about Krishna consciousness. And you see there are maybe 100 channels on the television. All sorts of stuff is there. But there's no shortage of discussions about politics and about, everything except Krishna consciousness. So the rare opportunity that people get to hear something, even the name Bhagavad Gita, the rare opportunity that people will get, then it is fortunate for them. And I'm sure you were a good example of humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for yourself then. He met a sadhu as well as the Bhagavad Gita. And it's the meeting the devotees which is going to have some good effect. The Bhagavad Gita, yes, but everything is coming to the point of sadhu sangha. When we can have some touch with the devotees, this will be very effective for the journey onwards and the journey home. There are so many positive things, and actually Krishna consciousness is all positive. So it's not just positive for us who do it, it's positive for those who come in contact with it, those who do give 20 cents, 50 cents, those who do give an apple or something, when we go to the markets, etc., it's good for everybody. No one is the loser. The tree is not the loser. No one is the loser. The product of the tree is going to the Lord. Who's picking it is doing it in service for the Lord. Who's cooking it is doing in service of the Lord. Who's offering to the Lord is doing in service. Who's honoring is doing in service. So it is the opposite of this world. There is an opposite world of this to this world. Here, which is everything is for us all individually, this is the consciousness put into us. I was going to say from birth, but not just from birth, for animal life after animal life. But we are not animals in the sense that we are humans. And so, yes, we can lead an animal life, and without some prayer and God consciousness, without some spiritual intention, then this is animal life. But more polished maybe, or more exploitative, more expert at exploiting, which doesn't make it a better life, makes it a very dangerous life. With great power comes great responsibility. One of the American presidents had famously said, I only know it because when we were early days using computers, when you were going in the coding word and you went in with the master password, it came up with that text. Maybe Kumkum or one of the people in Silicon Valley know from the old days. When you put in the master password, it came up a little sign that said, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, you can make a whole mess of your computer here. But now we're on a different side, that with great power, we can exploit very wonderfully. I mean, very wonderfully in the sense of so many wonders we can exploit, but it is fully reactionary. Or we can choose to dedicate. Now we can learn. Somewhere in the past, we already chose to exploit. But now we can come to good sense and choose to dedicate. And this is where this urgency and this necessity that not to waste any time on other things which seem so important in this world. Because as one of our dear devotees uses the expression, the graveyard is full of indispensable people. We all think, I have to do this, I have to do this. The world won't go on without me. The world will go on. We can be sure of that. So the indispensable thing is that we develop Krishna consciousness for ourselves, but for others, to give that introduction to others. And we really have something to introduce others to. And that is Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. And so this is always our emphasis, and this is our hope, that you may also become addicted. You probably already are addicted to hearing every day, reading something every day, to chanting the japa, to doing some devotional activity every day. This is then going to set us up for all of the day, so that we can try to see everything that happens. You miss the bus, you do that, but Krishna's behind it somewhere. We need to see Krishna's hand in everything. And a sweet world opens up. And on that theme, we can definitely, quote some beautiful things, but it's not just quotes. It is waking us up for the reality. Gurudev and Guru Maharaj are always trying to wake us up, trying to shake us and wake us up. And not to be lazy, not to be idle, but to be active, but active doing the right thing. So with good guidance that we do have, let us all have a successful week in Seva, and we'll meet you in different times, probably back to basics, and some other times in the coming week or two. But otherwise, the London Zoom is going to be 6:30 or 7:30 plus 5.5. It's midnight, I think, in Thailand, which I might not quite be able to manage. But I'm sure the London Zoom will go on, and David Shifu's probably got some plan and program for it all to continue, but we'll have the back to basics and various other Zooms. We may have to adjust the times just for the time that we're in Thailand for the coming festivals. So next week we'll be traveling there. All right, dear devotees, with lots of you here, I'm indebted to be in the company of so many good souls, and everyone appreciated, and everyone bringing joy to each other's hearts. We can all see everybody who is here when we look in the gallery view and click across. And so not only my joy to see all your names and to know most of you in person, but it is the joy of each other to also have each other's good company here. And the last person to enter on my screen, and then Divya Shakti Devi Rasi and Prafulla Krishna Prabhu in Brazil. Last but not least. So our obeisances to each of you, the last arrivals and the first arrivals, to the translators, to the speakers, to the audience. Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu appreciating very much, and you all there in London. This is your London Zoom. Next week, we'll be interested to see what you will say, what will be organized from there. All right, dear devotees, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhardev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. And Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. All our present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. And all the assembled Vaishnavas ki Jai. And the unlimited Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pemanandi Hari Hari Bo. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. With all
Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So with all best wishes to all of you good souls, very happily seeing you all and in each other's company. Now we'll let them chant Hare Krishna in London with the mridanga and cartels and be happy. Hare Krishna. Ami Aschi.